Okay, lesson 3. This is all about the role of organisations and their involvement in the development and facilitation of activity leadership. So we're going to be describing the 3 levels of organisation and I'll be able to identify examples of each within each level. So we're going to begin with local. Now these are the most important because at some point, up next is national. So these are ones operating for the whole country. So we can look at the people like states of Jersey, but can also look to the UK as well, such as the national governing bodies, which is for example, the Football Association or British Gymnastics, and they devise the qualifications that for example, the Jersey FA would teach. So they devise them for the regional governing bodies. They make the syllabus, make the resources, teach the tutors, and then say, right, go off and deliver. So you get a Football Association Level 1 CCF, even though it's delivered by the JFA. And they can also provide resources, research and examples of best practice as well. So best practice means what's the best way to deliver for example, a coaching session for a set topic to a certain age group. There are other national organisations, so for example the government, states of Jersey, now they're kind of your bog standard government sponsored. They can provide funding if you need to go and do courses or gain experience. UK Sport is solely focused at Olympic and Paralympic level. That's the organisation that dishes out the lotto funding to the different sports. Some sports get loads of money, for example cycling, swimming, athletics, while others like handball, basketball get very, very little. Now have a think about why that may be, and it comes down to what they're about. They're about Olympics and Paralympics. They have no interest in community sport at all. Therefore, they only give money to established medal winners. So if you're winning medals, you get money. If you're not winning any, after the 2012 Olympics in London, after their handball team failed to win a game, they then received 0 funding for the next 4 years. 0. They were given millions for 2012, and then that was cut to 0. So therefore, the coaches suffered, and the leaders within that sport suffered. We also have the military as well, so if you're part of the military you'll gain experience in terms of activity or team building activities, but also they would fund for you to learn about how to be a coach or an outdoor activity leader. And finally we have international, which is the ones that deal with multi-cultures and multi-countries and develop coaches all over the world. It's very difficult to kind of pinpoint how they do this, but what they do is they do provide opportunities for certain coaches. They provide role models by championing certain people. They really encourage fair play, and they have codes of conduct that they can deliver, and are available through things like their website, so coaches can see how they should be acting. However, those are actually mainly provided by the local and national providers. However, the international providers kind of have an oversight. They're the umbrella and develop the rules for the different sports, organise competitions, but they also have certain initiatives as well that can go in and develop, for example, develop facilities around the world, usually in developing countries. And then another example is the International Olympics Committee. Again, they set the standards for what athletes need to reach, so coaches know how they need to develop their athletes, and also providing codes of conduct and also how coaches and athletes should conduct themselves within their sport. So that gives that guidance for leaders. But again, not really that hands-on, and probably not the most effective for a grassroots activity leadership coach. So, questions. In terms of especially the local providers and the national, What theory of leadership that we've looked at previously underpins these above examples? So we looked at trait leadership, so leaders are kind of born, have the set characteristics, or situational, so leaders go through experience, gain the knowledge about how to act in different situations, or transformational, which develops the relationship between the person participating and the leader. So which one do you think actually underpins the majority of how these organisations are associated with leaders and how they develop leaders? Is it one where they develop the traits, or they give enough experience so they understand different situations, or the ability for a leader to interact effectively and foster independence and confidence in the people that are following them? Think of the people in these different organisations, especially the local and the national ones. For example, Dan Sevier or Brian Oliver at the JFA, Trina McAllister, head of Jersey Sport, and then Gareth Southgate. What's been their pathway? So, for example, Dan Sevier began his coaching with a private soccer school, so a private local organisation, Strikers, which I don't think is around anymore. He then was also coaching at St One's Football Club as well. This gave him the experience and the qualifications. He then became a part-time coach with the Jersey FA and then a full-time community coach at the Jersey FA. And now he's head of the community programme there. So his pathway has been one of essentially emergence and then going on to be selected, stroke appointed in his JFA role. So here's your task, is that when we get guest speakers in, they're likely to be from the JFA, but they might be from somewhere else. I want you to prepare a question for them regarding their association between leadership and organisations, and it must start with the word what. Okay, so you have to come to class with that. Alright, I look forward to seeing you, and I hope you enjoyed this really short video. Thank you very much. You are going to have an interview with one of these guys, or you're going to be working with them, and you're going to need to know what they actually do. So the first one is Jersey Sport. Now they are a Quango. This means that they are government sponsored, however they are independent and their own kind of departmental body. So they're separate from the states of Jersey, but they take a lot of funding from them. Now they offer financial support to people looking to perhaps go away or travelling, mainly for athletes, but also for coaches or people who want to advance their knowledge. For example, to go do a level 2 strength and conditioning course. And what they also do is they signpost. So if you were to call them up and say, right, I'm really interested in getting my level 1 swimming, they will then tell you where you need to go. They will direct you to Jersey Swimming Club or Tigers and say you need to contact them because the clubs themselves run the courses when it comes to swimming. Next are the sports clubs, like we just talked about. So we had Tigers there and also Jersey Swimming Club. You also have clubs like Spartans. Also you have all the football clubs. Now what they do is they provide opportunities. So you can actually go in and be a leader within those clubs. You may start as an assistant coach and then go on to actually lead a session or be head of a group of coaches. They can also provide financial support. So for example, a FA Charter Standard club like St Clement's will pay for you to go and do your level 1 if you go and coach at the club. So they can provide that financial support. And then also we talked about the courses. Now the gymnastics clubs, the athletic clubs, which is Spartans, and the swimming clubs, they actually deliver, or they get people over to deliver the coaching courses. They don't actually do it through a governing body like the Jersey FA or the Jersey RFU. So that leads us on to the next one, which is regional governing body. So these people are in charge of sport for the region in Jersey. So we've got Jersey FA, JRFU, Jersey Netball. And the Jersey FA is probably the most active in terms of grassroots development. And the reason this is pretty much because of their player base, their coach base are huge numbers. They're the most played sport and they have the most amount of coaches. But also, they have a lot of funding come through from the Football Association themselves. So that trickles down. They have funding to pay for staff. They have the syllabuses and the courses provided for them by the FA. So they would run, for example, a football level 1 or a safeguarding course or a first aid course, level 2, or the FA Youth Award modules. So people can become qualified in that sport, but also get qualifications in first aid and safeguarding as well, which are very important. They can also provide resources and support. And by this, coaches are often invited to go and see a best practice session. So coaches from Southampton Football Club come over and deliver sessions with the JFA, and coaches can go and watch and see and learn about how to deliver an effective football session for different age ranges. Now, the other regional governing bodies unfortunately don't really provide as much, and the reason that is because they don't have the player base, so there's not enough players, there's not enough coaches, and also the funding isn't as much. So they need lots of big group of people in order to say, yes, I want to do a coaching course, for them to then justify flying someone over. Up next is schools and colleges. So they can provide experience in terms of delivering sessions within PE or in sports science. They can also provide qualifications such as the Duke of Edinburgh Award, or for example Highlands College deliver. They facilitate by getting JFA in to deliver coaching courses or outdoor adventure activity leadership courses, and also within your lessons you get to deliver sports coaching or outdoor adventure in terms of leadership. There are other services such as the Jersey Youth Service, again opportunities, and can provide financial support. If, for example, you're a volunteer or you work with them, you can deliver activities within them, and they would also probably cover the costs of courses if you're a volunteer with them, so you'll be qualified to deliver sessions within the youth service. And last but not least, you have the voluntary organisations such as Scouts, Cubs, and again very similar to the youth service, but no one gets paid in this, so they provide the opportunities to deliver if you're a volunteer there, and they may also provide financial support if you need to do a coaching course, or they might put you on they would put you through a safeguarding and child protection workshop as well. So when it comes to leadership, they're getting you ready in every single facet. So you're not only learning how to deliver an effective activity, but you're doing it in a safe and appropriate manner as well.